online mapping. These are the online monitoring tools. So this you have to test it frequently to that the system is working. You know, dent, metal loss, deformation, vessel movement. Now vessel movement and anchoring, this is for the offshore pipeline. So this is important. And the weather related, that for earthquake, you have to do a seismic survey and you have to take advanced action in that. In case of earthquake, that you have to have the more covered, more pipeline thickness. Then you have to be alert in case of weather forecast, whether the excess rain, flood is there. So you have to keep watch on that weather forecast. Washout may happen, exposure may happen. And then operation and maintenance, standard operating procedure for everything. In case of emergency, in case of leak, in case of what action you have to take, this is important people. So standard operating procedure should be there. Audits is important, and leak detection system operation people should do, and a safety interlock testing. This is a safety interlock testing. You have to do the, in case of shutdown, that your fire extinguishers are working, emergency shutdown is there, people are aware. So this is the operation and maintenance requirement, calibration requirement, testing of safety instruments, like in the inside the compressor, that your fire detection system are working, your fire extinguishing system are working, CO2 flooding system are working. So all these things should work. So what you're looking for? Malfunctioning of safety instruments and valves. Now in detail, so this is the integrated estimate tool for piggable lines. So we have the piggable lines, non-piggable lines. What is that? See, now the frequency is also there. Feed quality analysis. So presence of CO2, H2S, condensate, pH, chlorine. Once a year for onshore pipeline, but twice a year for offshore pipeline. This you have to do. Now, depending upon that, if you have the online monitoring system of all these things through the, you have the instruments are there to monitoring online, then you can do online. Otherwise, depending upon the product specifications, you can increase that, but it is the minimum, but you can have a more. So pig residue, after each descaling, you have to know what is the Fe2O3, carbonate, S2O, pH value, sulfur bacteria. These are the pig residue analysis. And scrapper pigging, cleaning the internal surface to flush out. Dry gas once in 5 years. Wet gas once in a year. Crude oil every 3 months. Every 3 months. And ATA with other products. Non-ATA products 6 months. So this is for the gas people, and this is for the oil people. You have the cleaning, pigging you have to do. And internal corrosion monitoring by installing coupon, ear probes. And probes must be installed at 6 o'clock position in the running stream at vulnerable location. Corrosion coupons once in 6 months, probes once in 3 months. Online corrosion monitoring is preferred. So you have the online corrosion monitoring, your ER probes are there, resistance probes, and you have the online. Coupons is not online. You have to do every 6 months. That weight measurement you have to do. Then you have the inline inspection by suitable tube MFL tools, and this is for the dry natural gas 10 years, wet 5 years, petroleum was in 5 years, and UT then that measurement, platform, terminal, and offshore 2 years. This is for the offshore pipeline, platform, terminal, and also 2 years. Pressure testing once in 5 years, 1.25 times of MAOP. ICDA once in 5 years. And the visual inspection, 5 years for subsea. Visual inspection, you are doing 5 years for subsea, 1 year for splash zone, and 2 years for platform and onshore line. So this is a visual inspection you have to do. Then you have the external corrosion, CPL on-off survey you are doing, monitoring to maintain polarized potential, this millivolt to this millivolt. This is the CP. People will be knowing about the cathodic protection. All the pipeline integrity people should know about the cathodic protection. or there is a separate group for cathode protection also who maintain this. So need not all the people know it's because it's cathode protection are taken care of by the CP group, but you should know about that. That is why this is the part of the external corrosion monitoring and maintenance. So this is there. And for offshore line, continuous on monitoring. If it is sacrificial anode system in the sea, so the on monitoring is done. That is 952. Here it is 952 11 millivolt, and this is with the silver chloride, silver electrode. Here it is copper sulfate electrode. So once in a year for onshore pipeline, once in 5 years for offshore pipeline. Then coating integrity survey you have to do. This is once in 5 years for onshore pipeline. ROV inspection is done for visual coating damage. For offshore pipelines, you cannot do that CIP, CAT and DCVG survey. So you have to do ROV inspection for visual coating damage and anode condition. This is once in 5 years for offshore pipeline. UT measurement at platform and also 2 years. Subsea 5 years. UT measurement. Here also you have to either use the divers or the remote operating vehicle is there. So through ROV you can do for the software for the subsea pipeline. Soil testing you have to do once in 5 years to know how is the microbes, pH value, moisture content, oxygen, chlorine, etc. So this increase the vulnerability for the external corrosion. Pressure testing you can do same once in 5 years. ILI as an internal corrosion, ECGA once in 5 years. Now these are the different tools. Not necessarily you have to do all these tools like say the pressure testing or the ILI. Normally in the running pipelines you cannot do the pressure testing. Okay, so you are doing ILI. So at least you can do the means that normally you are doing the ILI for the internal corrosion, for the external corrosion, as you are doing internal corrosion. This gives you the external corrosion. In any case, you have to do that, but you can do that coating integrity survey. So this is will tell you what when we discuss with the external corrosion diet assessment and internal corrosion diet assessment, what are the tools that are required to be done. But these I have given you the complete details of the tools which you can take care and what should be the frequency if you are doing. But it is up to you to select depending upon the circumstances what tools you have to select. Normally 2 tools you are selecting for the indirect assessment and for the direct assessment. So the third party damage, again line patrolling, continuous monitoring, you have to do line patrolling. Now you have the satellite system is there, you have the phone, and by the phone you can track the guards movement. That the oil pipeline companies are required to do that because they have to continuously guard that what is happening on the pipeline. So you have through the satellite you can monitor that the guards movement. The GPS based tracking system and leak detection system. Others, QI, to evaluate population density index and safety class. So this is important. Quantitative risk assessment you have to do every 5 years because the population density index may change. So earlier it was class 1 and 2 and now it has become a class 3 and 4. So you have to do the risk assessment. That is quantitative risk assessment. What is the risk involved in that? Because now your cover is as per the class 1 and 2. Now you have to increase the cover, which you cannot do it. So what you will do in that case if the population density has changed? So because the impact will be higher. So you have to have put your, it will come in a high class zone. So now you have to go for a very controlling mechanism. Strictly you have to maintain your controlling mechanism so that the probability of failure is decreased.
Sir, I had one question here.
You want to ask question? Yeah, you can ask. Yeah.
Yeah, Pranav here. Sir, about the external corrosion, can you explain the CP? Like we wanted to know how to study the CP report. So if you have an example of CP reports, can you?
Yeah. It will come. Don't worry.
Okay.
It will come when we discuss external corrosion diet assessment. Then we will discuss that CP.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You got to know. So this integrity assessment tool for piggable lines, this is the manufacturing and construction defect. You have the geometrical pigging, EGP you are doing at the time of commissioning. So you know the manufacturing and construction defect. After cleaning to detect another information, this is once before commissioning. Then you have the NDT, you are non-destructive testing and find out the manufacturing and construction once in 5 years you are doing. And pressure testing, again, same thing. On bottom stability, lateral displacement, and free span survey for offshore pipeline. This once in 5 years you are doing. That is also done through your ROV, remote operating vehicle. Then O&M, inspection and testing of leak detection system and safety once in 6 months. You have to do inspection and testing of safety interlocks once in 3 months. Then stress corrosion cracking once in 5 years or 10 years as required. Earlier, this is also same as that of depending upon the stress related cracks, how much stress is being developed. You can find out the stress inside the pipeline. There are certain conditions, and then you can decide, because ILI can also give you some sort of stress corrosion cracking. Then your weather and environmental related. So of course, forecast, weather forecast, what is happening in the pipeline because of weather and environmental related changes such as earthquake, lightning, flood. So this is a continuous process. So you have to continuously monitor this type of earthquake zone, lightning, floods. Already I have taken you what action you have to take in case of earthquake or the lightning or the flood. Internal corrosion, same. This is the feed quality analysis for non-piggable pipeline. It is same as of piggable pipelines. What is the difference between piggable and non-piggable pipeline? That only in the non-piggable pipeline you cannot do the ILI. So here a little change in that, the monitoring of internal corrosion and external corrosion. So what you will do for the internal corrosion in non-piggable pipelines? This you can do, but you cannot know the corrosion debris inside that because you cannot do the training pigging. So you have to do by, first you have to do by, this already you are doing, coupons, probes, but these are not very reliable actually. 6 o'clock position you have to do. Monitoring you are doing, but it's not, most of the places I have seen that they are not working or not the proper type of probes are being put and then the proper location is not put. So ideally it should be at 6 o'clock position at the vulnerable locations where there is a possibility of or the water action. Normally we are putting at the station side from top of the opening and it doesn't go to the bottom of the pipeline where the pipe where the water condensation may be there. So this is not a actually reliable data. It doesn't give. Once in 5 years for offshore onshore pipeline. This is a coating integrity survey. I was coming for internal survey. Yeah. So this is for the same as in previous slide for piggable line. Then there are the IPS tools for measuring wall thickness of onshore and offshore pipelines. This is these are the special tools where you can measure the wall thickness of onshore and offshore pipeline. Platform, terminal, and onshore. It is 2 years that you can measure, and offshore is the 5 years because it is difficult to measure the in the subsea pipelines. So once in 5 years, that either divers you can engage or you have the remote operating vehicle where you can fit that ultrasonic tools on that, and they can measure the wall thickness, and that can record mounted on the remote operating vehicles. So the subsea, and that is costly also, but that you have to do. You have to measure the thickness of the pipeline. This is a direct assessment. Pressure testing that you can do, but online you cannot do it. Then ICDA is important. Here in this case you have to do the ICDA. I will come later on what is ICDA, how do you find out that ICDA, because inland pigging you cannot do. So you have to take care of the internal corrosion. You cannot do the physical verification all through the pipeline. So first you have to find out what are the vulnerable locations. That is possible through ICDA once in 5 years. And the visual inspection, of course, when you go inside that that visual inspection, inside you cannot do it. Outside you can do. Internal corrosion, you cannot do it. For a splash zone, is outside you can do 2 for platform and onshore. So visual inspection is actually for this outside. Inside you cannot go it. This is for the external side. Internal corrosion is concerned, there is only ICDA, which I will explain to you, and then you can measure, depending upon the ICDA, the thickness arrangement by that remote operated vehicle or through the divers. Non-permeable pipeline. So again, ILI cannot do. Rest and the same. Rest is the same as of in the permeable pipelines. Here also ECDA you have to do. Hello, somebody wants to speak?
Yes, sir. Mr. Dinesh Kumar wants to ask, what's the full form of IPS tools?
IPS tool, that is actually intelligent pigging tools is there, but it's sort of a different actually. This is this is the intelligent pigging system, but this is something different without having that is no need for that your scraper launcher or a scraper receiver. Okay, this is device for the non-piggable lines. Here you don't require this special type of tool. Same intelligent pigging system. So whatever the inline inspection does, it does the same thing for the non-piggable pipelines. Okay. This is the intelligent pigging system, IPS. That is also that is inline inspection by the magnetic flux linkage, but this is the different. Here you don't have to put that pig through the launcher and receiver. So that is the difference. Now this is the new tool. It has come. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So then we were coming to section defect entity ONM. This for non-piggable. Next is the same. Only in the non-piggable pipeline you cannot do the inline inspection, but you can do that. That is the that IPS tool for measuring valve thickness of onshore and offshore pipeline. This is the implementing system for the internal corrosion, not inline inspection, but it is all the same. You can do, but you can do, if you don't want to use it, is costly, you can do the ICDA also in that. There's alternative solution you have got. This gives the same result. But where piggable lines, you can do the inline inspection. So third party damage is there, and so this is all the same. On bottom stability, this is once in 5 years. ONM once in 3 months. Inspection testing of same thing. Stress, this is all the same. Only case of that in the case of non-piggable line for internal corrosion, you have to do IPS tools. Rest are same as that of piggable pipelines. So now we'll come about the inspection tool technology. So you have now heard so many technology, but now we will come to that. That inspection tool technology, what type of, a little bit I am giving you explanation so that you understand. So this is first the deformation. As I told you, this is the non-destructive testing caused by stress and results into ovality, dent, wrinkles, and cracks, weakening pipe strength. For that, this is basically in the, after the fabrication and the construction. So this is done once at the time of commissioning. That is the caliper pig, or you call it EGP. That is the geometrical pigging, to know the geometry of the pipelines. So, so it is a single and multi-channel. This is the caliper pig. Basically, it is called the caliper pig, and this gives the geometry. It doesn't give you the metal loss or that features. It's not like that of your intelligent pigging tools. It's just a caliper pigging which gives the ovality, dent, wrinkles, etc. And this is based on the Odometer, this is the odometer. You see, you can have here. So these are the these are the methodology aerial for measuring pipe ID. This pipe ID measures, and this is odometer distance it gives. Now data is recorded here. Data is recorded here directly from this, from the inside of the T, if there is any depth or something. And then this goes, and this is the battery and the transmitter for and the pig from ground. So this is the system of a caliper pig, and here you are see it is giving the in the graphical form. It is coming. So it is recording the data in that, and it can be downloaded in the computer. So this is the data. It gives the different whether there is any ovality, dent in percentage. So this can give you in that. So this is required as a EGP. This is the inspection tool. This is the metal loss. This is the magnetic flux leakage. You know, axial, radial, and circumferential. Now it has come. We'll come in detail about when we will discussing the inline inspection. When we're discussing inline inspection, then we will discuss this. So this is the magnetic flux leakage, and this is depending upon the electrical. These magnets are there. You see, these are the two magnets. It's a simple process. These are the two magnets, and these are the sensors. So magnetic lines are created. You see, here it is given that these are the magnets, and the magnets creates the field. Magnetic field is created. This is the pipeline. This is like a conductor. So this is a conductor, and when the magnetic field changes at the defect, so the magnetic lines go through the air and defect, and so here the leakage flux is there. So because it leaks through the air, so this leakage flux is through the sensor element. Leakage flux is recorded, and the consequent the voltage is developed in the coil is there. There is a sensor coil. So this voltage, depending upon the leakage flux, change in the voltage, this is recorded by the recorder, which is somewhere else, the sensor element, and here somewhere it is there, recorder, and this is the secondary magnet. This is the secondary magnet. So it records that, and it comes in the graph. So it gives the difference. We will discuss the inline pigging, then we will see the details. This is just broad about that. This is ultrasonic wall thickness measurement, high resolution. There you have to use a couplant, and this is the probe. You know, you must have measured this thing. This is based on the ultrasonic or the sound waves. Ultrasonic is the sound waves. Whatever you have the ultrasonic, now you go to the doctor and they check the ultrasonic. That ultrasound they are doing based on the ultrasonic waves. That is the sound waves. So know the velocity is there, some velocity. And echo, you know that echo you are doing for the heart also. What is your heart movement? What is your palpitations? So these are all depend upon the echo. So whenever these sound waves are going from the transducer is there, that creates the sound waves. It travels the velocity to the pipe, and where there is any and it returns back. You see, this is the wave that is coming and returns back. So the velocity is programmed. It comes here, goes back. This is the echo. What comes back, it is the echo. That depending upon the sound velocity, if it is returning back from here, so it will have travel some distance. So where there is no thickness reduction, so it will take time. Like here graph it is seen that this is the this. Here it is taking, here it is C. So it is taking time to traversing distance. But here this is the crack. So this is the crack side. So this gives a lesser time. So based on that, so it will take a lesser time to return back to that, depending on the velocity. It will take about that. So this is like that. This type of graph it comes. So it's normal, and wherever there is a depth, it will come like this. So you can measure. This is the principle. So you can measure, but you have a couplant because there cannot be any air gap between this probe and this pipeline. So you have to put the couplant here. You are using some liquid there, so to reduce the air gap. Otherwise, the this will also cover this one when it comes. So it will not give you the correct result. So the couplant is required. This is for the ultrasonic wall thickness measurement. Normally, we are using this method for physical verification. Here it is a long range ultrasonic thickness, LRUT, or guided wave ultrasonic thickness measurement. What we call this is more precise than ultrasonic thickness measurement, because here you do not require. This is on the same principle. This is same principle, but here you have these are the magnets. Here you can fix. The advantage is that you can fix at one location, and in the 500 meter that side, 500 meter that side. So 1 kilometer you can measure the thickness from one location. Need not take at a point location. So this is the advantage of this. But the principle is same. So here we have shown the graph. You see, there is the different metal losses, and see, this is the weld. This is the weld. This is so. This will say the weld anomalies. No defect, but there is a weld. Here is the metal loss. So it is showing the metal loss, the bottom portion. There is also the metal loss. You see, if it is a very high nature, this is there. So this is again slow, and if it is more than that, this goes. So you can differentiate from that. And this side will be your range. This side will show you how much is that thickness, percentage thickness. So it can give you directly, and it can measure that distance also. What is the channel that it can give? If there is any metal loss or at the location, there only it will give. Otherwise, everything will be. It will not give. It will only indicate what is the distance. It covers the distance here to here, and what is depending upon those. This graph, this figure gives you the range of the thickness. So this is the guided wave, particularly for the non-piggable pipelines, where you cannot do that small pipelines and the non-piggable pipelines. So there you can do this ultrasonic thing. So 4 kilometer, 5 kilometer. So 4 places you have to put this, and you can measure the thicknesses. So, but you have to excavate and put this on the pipeline. So it has got its own application. This is the cracks. You can measure the crack also by the ultrasonic crack detection, axial and circumference. This is also based on the same principle, ultrasonic, but this measures the crack. So for measuring the crack technology, physical verification, you can use the ultrasonic crack detection. And another is electromagnetic acoustic transducer. This is the same principle. This is the electromagnetic acoustic transducer, which is used for measuring the thickness. But with the same principle, you can have that leak detection system also, based on the same principle. There is some vibration in that. So here EMET, and what happens? So this is the couplant we have to use, piezoelectric, that creates. So here it is some constraints, ultrasonic wave. But this is the EMET UT. You have the magnet, and you need not require this couplant, because this is the magnet and this is the coil. Here additional is the coil, EMET coil circuit. So magnet produces the magnetization, and it produces the your magnetic field. This is the magnetic field, and then is coil. This is given a power supply from separate plug socket is. So here the current is like that. So this is the interact. The eddy current and magnetic field. These both interact with each other, and there is a ultrasonic waves. In result, there this is ultrasonic waves we produce. So here couplant is not required, and this is more precise. So here you can take measure like that. Same graph is there, but it can give you the complete and the so this is the advantage of the electromagnetic acoustic transducer. But it is a costly affair, but it is more precise. So either instead of UT measurement, you can use the EMET. it's going all right. Now we'll come to the inline inspection. So now we are continuing with the inspection technology. I am deliberating a little bit on inline inspection because this is important, and how do you do it, and what are the precautions you have to take, and so we will go for the inline inspection. This is the arrangement for the using your pigs, that inline inspection pigs. Most you are all of the pipeline people, so you must be knowing all about this thing. So this is the scraper launcher. This is the scraper launcher. So this is the bypass line here. It is coming from here. You put pig here, and then from here the pressure difference is there, comes here, and from here the gas goes here, flow. So pressure difference created, it goes like that. So and this is the receiver that is coming here, it comes to that. So this is the arrangement of the launcher and receiver. So utility pigs are there that do not record any data but provide useful information, and instrumented pigs like record specific data about the health of the pipeline. You know about the pigs. These are the utility pigs. That these are a different type of pigging. It's cleaning, used for cleaning, mandrel pigs, the foam pig, cleaning, then soil cast pig, sphere pig. These are the different types of utility pigs. This is a pinwheel pigs for cleaning, hard wax on the petroleum pipeline. The oil pipeline people must be using this pinwheel pig. So this scratch that wax this pin. This will scratch the pigs and it moves on. So clean the wax. You must be using that oil people. Gas people will not be using this because there is no wax in that gas. This is a mandrel cleaning pig. This is all you have to do before inline inspection. You have to clean the line. So these are the magnets, and these are the magnets, and all the iron particles inside the line are accumulated here. So this is a mandrel cleaning pig. What is the online inspection objective? Any defect. Mainly it is the defect by the operative pressure. So first thing is that it gives you the defect detected by the online inspection. Fall at the operative pressure. So future, immediate, future, and the condition of the pipeline. These are the three actually benefits of the online inspection objective. So it gives at what stage your defect is there, whether it is critical or whether it is in the 2-3 years, 5 years it will fail, or whether it will life is more. So basically this is for the pipeline strength, pipeline life. Its strength is very important for the. So this inline inspection at one go you have the complete health of the pipeline. What are the pipeline anomalies? Imperfection may cause failure above the pressure that causes nominal yield of the pipe. So this is the imperfection. And then there is the defect. What are the defect in imperfection? But critical defect will fail at the below the maximum level of depression. So this is important. Critical defect. What is the critical defect? We will see later on. Critical defect is that defect where you have that your failure pressure is This method then MAOP. Then number of the pipeline activity and then more than the critical station. So that all critical station or near critical station, 90% or 95%. So then the critical defect. And this is of course that you are near the station or near the station. Imperfection is maybe or imperfection. It should be perfect, it is not perfect. But imperfection, but that will not lead to the failures. So these are the anomalies. What are that? Metal loss and hard spot inclusions. All these things are indicated by the inline inspection. So many data. Metal loss is important. Then hard spot, inclusions, laminations, and well porosity. Then cracks, axial, cracks, circumferential, dents and buckles with or without metal loss. So these type of anomalies it gives inline inspection. Severity of metal loss. This is just a graph, you see. This depends upon this graph is important, that length of defect in inches. You know, if the length of defect is more, but the depth of defect is less, say 30%. 30% depth is there, but the length is 14 inch. So it is severe. So length also it depends. Length, width is not important, but the length is important. 30% deep is there, length is more. While you have length is less, if the length is less and then 60% deep, then even it is critical. So length of defect is important. And you see, if this is 1.0, this is the depth of defect divided by the original thickness. How much of that? Depth of thickness. So this is the thickness, original thickness, this is the depth of thickness in percentage. So 60%, if it is 60%, but the length is 6. And below 6, at 6, here it will come. So this is not above that only. So if it is say 30% and like this here, it is suppose this is like this. This is not critical, 30%. Even you have 80% depth of defect is there, here 80%. But the length is only 2. Even then it is not comes under the critical stage. You see, this is important. Even they say 90% also depth, but it is same. While its criticality is there, above it will go, it is critical. Here it is critical. 80% is there, 80%. But so how much is it? 2 inch to 4 inch. If it comes to 2 inch, 80% not critical comes to 15 inch. Comes to from 2 to 6 inch, and it comes at 60% becomes critical. So this is an important. Don't believe on this because you have to calculate. Of course, this is a rough idea. So I will give the formula where you can find out what is the critical depth. Designing a pipeline for pigging. So you have to design. So this is an ideal pipeline. This is not ideal. So you cannot just think that this is ideal condition. How can we state from end to end? Not possible. Constant ID with no weld penetration, not possible. Be perfectly round, not possible. Polished or epoxy coated, maybe possible. Polished or epoxy coated. Have no offtakes, not possible. No valves, not possible. Be pumping a light refined oil at a speed of about 1 per second. Not possible. 1 meter, or you can have it's possible, maybe. And should be could be suitable design pig launcher. Yeah, of course, that is a requirement of that. So I won't describe that. What is Indian pigging? You know that I explained to you why we are using that. So this is the objective pigging. So you are using for that cleaning, hydro testing, drying, internal coating. So need not go for that. We go with Indian pigging. So geometrical pigging, corrosion monitoring. MFL principle, ultrasonic principle. These are 2 types of tools, but we are using MFL principle. And we are using high resolution pig tool, or this is normally we are using high resolution pig tool. This is the transverse field inspection tool. It will give only the axial side. So we are using high resolution pig tool. We can give you the complete that circumferential, axial, and transverse defects along with the x, y, z coordinates, the three-dimensional. This already we have discussed that geometrical pegging. It is a geometrical pegging again, but I have told you sensor figure is there. This is a locator unit here, and this is the digital data is recorded, odometer, transmission disk. So this already I have told you that I have shown you that geometrical peg configuration. Let's concentrate now on the inline pegging. What is the principle? Is same MFL principle that already I have told you that these are the magnets first and these are the pipelines. So the leakage flux goes here. So this is leakage flux because of defect, because of the air gap is there. So the flux leakage, what happens? This leakage only that flux the recorder actually records, and this because of this leakage flux, this is a pipeline behaves like a conductor, and you know that magnetic flux are there around that. So because of the changing magnetic flux, leakage flux, there is a voltage induced in the pipeline, and there's a difference of voltage. What is here and what is here? Because here the leakage flux is there. That change in the voltage decides you how much is the metal loss here. So it records that signal from this recorder, and it converts into a digital format in the recorder. So this is the odometer, this is the wheel that gives you how much is the distance, and this is your secondary. There are the two magnets for the powerful magnets. So secondary magnets, and then you have pressure and temperature. Of course, you have to maintain the pressure, temperature, all of the things. So this is the basic principle of that. That basically it is the based on the electromagnetic flux, electromagnetic induction. This is the ultrasonic peg tool. Already I have told you how does it behave like that. This is the because of depth we are not using, but we can use the ultrasonic peg tool also. But you have to decide which type of tool you are going to use. So this is just for we are using inline, but the principle is same. Here this depth is there. So T is equal to L1 minus. What is the? It is ultrasonic based on the sound waves. So sound waves are traveling, but how far it will travel along with the pegs. And here you have the battery system is there, and that is your transducer, which generates sound waves, and it echo is a defect of the pipe. It is receiving there, and the time taken to receive back the echo. In case of the less thickness, the time taken is less. In case of this, it is more. So that this covers that signal time in which the signal returns. Based on that, they convert it into digital signal in case of the reduced thickness. So this is the same principle. So we can use the UT metal loss, but there's just a principle. We are normally going for the inline inspection. Now this is important. Intel peg tool selection. What you can take. Not all Intel peg tool, but I won't go in detail. But I will tell you about what you can select. So metal loss, corrosion, external, internal. This is your main purpose. So what you will do? Which type of tool you will use? High resolution MFL tool, detection and sizing. So this you are doing, and no need to go to that. This you can use, okay, for metal loss. Then what happens? Then narrow axial external narrow axial external corrosion. This is a difficult. If it is a narrow axial corrosion, very less. It has got certain limitations that it cannot detect your narrow axial external corrosion. It is very narrow, and that is not very important also, because very narrow. So for this, you need not have a different instrument. So you are not a crack and crack lag detection. So here is a problem: crack and crack lag detection. What you will do for cracking? So it says for that you have to use that say caliper tools is also not only ultrasonic shear wave, which we are not doing, and the transverse MFL. But this is a transverse MFL. But if you are using the high resolution tool with the XYZ coordinate, which can come later on, means it has a now, this is only transverse. So axial, it says, so it cannot move. But if you are using a high resolution MFL tool with the XYZ coordinates, that is the 3-dimensional, in that case, it measures the crack also. Because circumferential cracking, if it is circumferential cracking, then this MFL tool can give you circumferential cracking. And for these cracks, you will have that your caliper picking you have to do, because caliper picking that uses that it is not given here caliper picking. Caliper tools is there. They are telling that slow detection, but you can use the electrogeometrical picking or the crack detection tools if you want to know the cracks. But it can give you some indication, high resolution tool of the cracks, because axial corrosion they are tooling. If you are using the precise high resolution tool, this can get you about the cracks. So this you can use. Okay, the only one tools. So this is dents also detection. Dents are victim. Everything this go. So need not to see all these things, but you can use the high resolution MFL tool for measuring metal loss, anomalies, cracks, everything. Ultrasonic tool need not discuss because they have given the different, but can be commonly used for liquid and gas transporting pipelines. This is used for only gas transporting pipelines. So there is something there is a constraint here. So let us go for the MFL based tool. High resolution. So high resolution, why? Because it has a high number of sensors and digital recording. This is a high resolution. So you have a high resolution. So greater number of sensors, multi-channels, so many sensors are there. So your data cannot be left. The sensor size and axial sampling interval, tool resolution, ability to get it. So ability to accurately categorize the defect. Already we have taken digital recording. So this is the high resolution MFL tool. Already I have shown you that what is that? This is the battery unit. This is the primary sensing unit. See, these are the magnets. These are the sensors unit. These are the secondary sensor unit. This is the odometer for distance measurement. And this is the computer unit. Data recording is there. Okay. And this gives you the inside dia is there. It gives you inside dia also. And so this moves like that. And battery and unit for the sensors and for the computer unit. So this is all about your typical high resolution MFL tool. This is transfer field inspection tool. Transverse means this can give you only the axial one. So we are using that circumferential high resolution tool, which can give you the circumferential, axial, and transverse both, because you want the metal loss in all the directions, axial also, transverse also, and the circumferential also. So we have to go the latest tool, high resolution tool, circumferential tool, which can measure in 3 directions. What are the different tools? Drive system, power system, magnetization system, sensor, and data conditioning and recording. So these are important. You have to design parameters, pipeline design operating parameters. Magnetization level is important. Tool design. So see the magnetic field. If you have the more magnets, strong magnets, then you will have that more magnetization. So the magnetic field is less. See, this depends upon the strength. So the magnets are important. So you have the high resolution field where the magnets are of so many magnets and the powerful magnets, sensors also there. So you have the high magnetic field, you have the high magnetization. High magnetization means, and more sensor means accurate measurement. You have the full flux density here. And so the leakage flux density will also be more. You can be very well there to record any anomalies in the leakage flux density. It's all about, you can see that difference between magnetization. Here it is coming, the distance is more, the flux density is very low. Here it is a little more than that, but it is not penetrating here. See, it is leakage. Here it is quite dense, so high magnetization. Okay, this is going like that. These are the sensor systems. Here the sensor system. Flux leakage field into a signal. Very important sensors. So we have the induction coil system. We have the induction coil system in the sensors. So this is just an induction coil is there, where you have the magnetization field is created across the induction coils. 7 turns of wires is there, and a changing magnetic field is a voltage across the wire. Therefore, no voltage will be induced when no defect is present. Voltage induced only when there is a flux changes. That is at the defect. At the defect, the voltage will be induced in the coil. Imperfection causes flux to leak into the air, a voltage induced because the flux density is changing. So this is the system. So this induction coil is there in a type of sensors. In the high resolution tool, then the induction coil, powerful induction coil. You have a total number of turns of the wire where the magnetic flux changes, and there is a production of that electric current or the induced voltages in that. We won't discuss with that because this is the Hall effect sensor. We are not using the Hall effect sensor. This depends upon the power actually. You have to take a power. It's same. So we won't discuss this Hall effect sensors. That is the same magnetization system. This is the magnetization system. Already we have discussed magnets, coils, sensors. What is the requirement? It should be strong enough to cause a measurable amount of flux. A strong effect means your magnets are strong magnets. Then uniform. It should be uniform and consistent. Strong, uniform, and consistent. These are the requirements of the magnetization. And then there is your data recording and recording system. You have a huge data, it is coming. So it's very complex, and you see how many data will come. Data points, number of sensors. Now there are a huge number of sensors. Into the number of samples per unit distance, number of samples. It is taking a huge number of samples per unit distance. And then the distance traveled. So at each mm it is taking. In 1 meter at least 100 sample it is taking. So the distance traversed is long. This distance traveled into the number of sample into number of sensors. This is the total data point. This will be in millions and millions of data. So all these data have to be transmitted to your digital recording device. So it is very complex. And so use data conditioning system. Now how much data it can store the data? So you have that, you have to compress, like you have that in the computer, you can compress the data, you can zip it. So there is a system in the data conditioning system which zips those data and reduce storage requirement. This is all part of the inline inspection, that pinging system. This is the data generating system. You see, magnet poles is there, and all the sensors are there, magnet, and through sensors, all that digital, it converts this into digital signals and goes into the storage. So this is a data generating system. And power system is that you have the battery. The battery is there, which is inside the membrane, which gives the power to the sensors and to the your data recording system. So a powerful battery, so it can last up to the full pigging schedule or the pigging distance. It covers the time. It is a drive system. Drive system is a differential pressure between the front and back of the drive cups. There are the drive cups, and there is a pressure difference between the upstream cups and the downstream cups. And this pressure difference actually forces that pig to move again. So the drive cups are like that there is always a pressure difference. This is the drive system. You have the, the drive cups inside and outside, both the sides. And as there is a pressure difference, as it moves, then pressure is equal. Again some is drawn. Again this pressure difference is there. Again it moves like that. Now there are some activities, pre-inspection activities and field activities. What are the pre-inspection activities? You have to do the pull-through test. That is the calibration. Calibrated, that you are going through that also not. So we have like this. This is a pull-through test, pre-inspection. So you have a pipes which you know that there are certain ambiguities, metal loss, and this is minus 15, plus 15 from that, and this is the measurement length. This is the length. This is the measurement length. This is the channel, and this is a dummy picking system. So this is custom matching. So not is going outside. Plus minus 15. So like this and calibrate. This was for the length. Similarly, you can do for the width. This is for the width. Also, it is falling on that. Here it is like that, plus minus 15 mm. Normally, plus minus 10 mm. There is some clearance also, some margin also on that. So they can calibrate that and they can fit it right also. Here it is, say, from here this is 2-3 mm is there, 2-3 mm is there, like that. Should match 2-3 mm. Okay, very minor. So this is about the width. Important is about the depth. This is so this is about the depth, you know, this check. This is the depth. So it is something having minus 15 also. So that way you can have a plus minus 15 mm. It is showing in the minus side. That is whatever it is, that is showing in the minus side. This is outside that zone. So there is some margin of plus minus 10, 15 mm. But that is a very great, that is very high actually. It should not have like that, this margin. So we should again calibrate this. Why it is going like that? We have to calibrate and then again we have to do. Ideally, it should lie on this. Plus 15 mm, it is more than that. So this calibration is necessary. Why it is coming like that? This we have to check further that what is the depth. It should match on that length, width, and depth. So this is very important. This pull-through test. The pipeline geometry you should have. And cleaning, you have to do internal cleaning, magnetic cleaning pig, and geometrical pigging is most advisable if you do. If you can't do that, so you can know that. So geometrical pigging also. Almost all the things you have to do. Cleaning pigging, geometrical pigging, and then finally you have to put the highlight. Then you have to put the above ground markers. There are two types of markers, magnet markers and above ground markers coil. But permanent magnet markers we are using. Now this is the market, that is the marker magnet. Here you have to expose the pipeline, put in this like that. From girth weld, near the girth weld, it has to be put. These markers are there. It shows that where is your pigs. So it can indicate you the pigging location. So your magnet markers, now we are doing, this is the flow. So it should touch, magnet should touch the pipe. So coating is taken out and it is put in the on the pipeline. It must touch that. This is the gut weld. Okay. Remove pipe coating and set magnets on bare metal. So this is a horseshoe marker magnet. We call it horseshoe magnet marker. Electromagnetic coils we won't discuss because we are not above ground. You can put electromagnetic coils, but here actually electromagnetic is there, so you have to put power also, and you can also put on the ground. Need not to put on the pipeline. You can put on the ground. It is actually magnetic coils are there, and you have to put that electrical that coils, power in that current, and then magnetic fields are generated, which goes to the pipeline, and then it gives the indication where is the pin. This is XYZ mapping. We are telling you this is the latest trend now, that XYZ mapping is fitted in the MFL tool, and this is the three-dimensional graphical pipeline coordinate. It measures the three-dimensional graphical pipeline coordinates. You will have seen that now they specify that it should have with the XYZ mapping. It gives in the three-dimensional three coordinates. That is in the say XYZ means circumferential, axial, and the transverse. All the three sides. So this is a three XYZ mapping is there. That gives you geometrical picture also, and the metal loss that in all the directions. So this is now the XYZ coordinates are there. We are putting along with the inspection, this ILI inspection tools. This is again the same thing. It's a letter. Tool length is tool length plus 1 feet. This is the how much should be that. This is the dimension is there. What is the tool length from here to here? This is the tool length. Okay, and this should be more than tool length plus 1 feet. This dimension from here to here. And then this is the 2 feet minimum. This is the 2 feet minimum. Then these are the valves, full opening through control valve. And this is the flow. This is the bypass valve. Same. And then the vents and drains. Here is the vents and drains you have to put so that you can vent it. Similarly, in the receiving side, scraper side, this is the valves, it is going, and it is the total. This is the more length there. So here again the pressure difference to be there, it will kick off. But here you have to take care that here you have to know where the pig is there. Somebody pig is similar to be there, that it has passed through that. But more important is that to go from here to here. Okay, so you have that pressure here, pressure gap there between these two. So that from this close the valve, put the it will come through, open here, and then you reduce that pressure. You close that valve. You vent that through that valve, close it, and you vent it like that. So the low pressure, and again it will come here like that. So post intelligent figure activities. What is that? Subsea pipeline, same method is there, but multi markers you cannot install, so you have to go there. And here is the markers is different. Actually, markers you cannot put. If you have the XYZ mapping attachment, then you need not put the magnetic markers. Subsea pipeline, special care should take a little bit difficult here, because if the pig is stuck up, then that's different. You have to find out where the pig is stuck up, and you have to take it out. So it's difficult in offshore pipeline. How do you measure that? This is they are submitting at this feature, wherever there is any feature ambiguity like this, they have the graph. Okay, so this they give. These are the weld joints are there. So that distance they are giving. This is the one weld joints that they show. The location is there, the flow and the metal loss position. The 030 o'clock. So the position they are giving. What is the length? Is up to 52 mm. And external, internal, they are giving length, width, and the maximum depth of metal loss is 20%. That also they are giving, and the joint wall thickness is 16.90 mm. So this the original that they are giving like this. So, and they will submit to the data, to the operation data. What is the sampling frequency or distance? How much sampling they are taking? What is the distance per sampling? Detection threshold, what is the margin of the threshold, plus minus that margin they will give. Then reporting the 90% POD. What is that? Probability of detection. That is 90% they will cover, 10% they can miss. So the 90%, normally it is 90% the probability of detection, and total depth you have the 90% they will give. And velocity plot on length of the pipeline, tool velocity. What means the tool velocity? That they will give 2 to 3 meter per second. Normally it is there, and it should not be high also. The flow also you have to reduce, because the flow is more, the tool velocity is more. Then in that case you won't get the correct metal loss. So pressure and temperature also it should be prefixed. That any change in the pressure or the temperature will also affect your your metal loss and the features. In case of magnetic field strength, how much is the magnetic field strength? That also they will give. That depends upon the specification which you require. They have all these parameters: log distance, joint number, as I told you, joint meter. What are the features they are giving you? Distance, joint number, pipe wall thickness, and girth weld details, orientation. They will all give you in that in a figure, as I told you. So everything. That estimated repair factor also they are giving you. Will come later on. What is this estimated repair factor? That also is a very important factor. Then we'll discuss later on, but you remember just for now. And what is the estimated repair factor? So these are the data they will give. How is the total number of metal loss, feature, internal, external, fits. So many information you will get. You see how much is the feature and the different that they will give you the data also, different types of how much is the percentage. This is all based on the your computer programming is there, software is there, which gives you all the data. Safety precautions you have to take. Carbon materials, when you receive the pigs, then you have a lot of carbon materials. So in the air, you have to have that quench through water. Otherwise, the carbon materials come into the contact with the air, and the fire may take place. And the slug collection, there may be the slug collection, and gases may also be the slug, carbon particles and other things. So you have to be properly take care of that. And condensate is also there. If there is a chemicals in the condensate like H2S or the acids H2SO4, then the condensate you have to have a safe disposal of the condensate to avoid the pollution. And you always use personal protective equipment, and the technicians should be trained. These pigs are very important, particularly the cleaning pigs and this thing, because the bacteria may enter into that. So you have your hand gloves like that. Whenever you are putting pigs, you should have a gloves in your hand, and don't keep these pigs on the ground. And the fire extinguishing medium. If there is any fire, then you have to take care. Particularly in this operation and this pigs. So no person should be, while receiving the pig, the person should not be in front of the doors. At least there should be some door, and you must be ensured that your pigs have arrived at the end of the barrel. Then only you have to open it. You have to have a contingency plan. If it is stuck up the pig, then how will take care of that, or failure of pipeline. So you should be ready with that contingency plan. All the emergency people, equipment, that should be ready. Fire extinguishing medium, anywhere, anything can happen. Pipe failure or sudden stoppage of flow. Then the pig may be stuck up. Again, you have to start. So the contingency plan must be there. So this is just a process, whatever we have discussed. So you check launcher, receiver, and pipeline details. First, you check all the previous launcher, receiver details. All valves are working. Pig receiving signal are working. Bypass valves are working. Whether your mainline valves and bypass valves are not passing. Your all vent and drains are working. Your pressure gauges, temperature gauges, they are working. All you have to ensure for that. So, review of launcher, receiver, and pipeline details. If it is okay, then you move. Otherwise, not okay, then modify facility as required. Okay. So, then begin operation. First, you check that. Then operations. Then cleaning scraper tool runs. Run the cleaning pigs. If you find it is stuck up, or you are not cleaning, then if you excess debris or stuck tool, so you have to clean it. Unless you clean it safely and you are ensured that there is no inside material in the pipeline, then only you can use the ILI inspection tool. Otherwise, your ILI inspection tool will stuck up in the pipeline. So the cleaning pigging you have to ensure. Then comes evaluate line cleanliness. Okay. Then mechanical gauge tool run. Then you use it the EGP, electrogeometrical pigging. If there is any pipeline, any valves, means dents, gouges, or anything deformity, then go to beforehand. Okay. Then you have magnetic. Then you put the markers. Then you put magnetic markers. Run. Then magnetic markers you use here. Okay. Then again, after the magnetic marker you put, then ILI tool run, and finally you evaluate the data and complete. So this is the process we have to follow. MFL velocity is very important. Tool velocity, that also depends upon the gas flow and the pressure. So you have a pressure and temperature as set as required for this ILI inspection, and also you have the velocity. Changing magnetic field, if the velocity is changing, magnetic field will change. So, and it is seen that see, this is just I'm putting the graph how the tool run velocity changes the reading. You see, there is that. This is the static. This is the static. So this is. And if it is increased, if the velocity is increased, say this is the increase, then this axial flux density, this changes, flux density. Because the speed is more than the flux density changes. So because the magnetic field flux density will change, and this will be 10 meter per hour. Okay. So this is changing. This goes down. So we have to maintain this 3 to 4 meter that squares per second. That is the requirement of that flux leakage, and it is there. So this is very important. Sorry. Effect of a stress. No, stress also is injurious to pipeline. Besides that, your stress corrosion cracking, but because of a stress, this magnetic flux is also changing. So, and that will happen because of changing in the pressure, or if there is any contraction in the pipelines because of the different the weld joints, or if there is some inside coating is there, or if there is some obstruction, then the stress will develop, and that will also change the magnetic flux density. So this and the metal loss regions, stress rises. When the metal loss is there, so they will have some stress rises. So that is there, but these are the margins, you can say, and we have to take care of that. We have to reduce stress defects, but it is not in our hand. You can see. So the stress is there, and we have to live with it. You can see, how can you reduce this? Whatever pipeline is there, inside the pipeline. You have the weld defect anomalies, you may have the certain manufacturing defects or something like that. This all creates the stress, but you understand that the stress causes the change in the magnetic flux density and the readings. That is why you are taking the direct inspection you are doing. And how much is the, there will be certain changes, but it should be more or less within that acceptable range. And it stays increasing single which would decreases, you see, 25% increases. And there is residual magnetism also, you see, in the next slide is there. This is what we call residual magnetism. You see, how many constants are there? Stress is there, tool velocity is there, then you have a residual magnetism, or what we call hysteresis. Even if that tool has passed and the magnetic flux is not directly going to the defect, but there is some residual magnetism, and because of that, as it will also pick up that it will not pick up the signal from there, but because of the residual magnetism, that magnetization level may change. But this will not disturb your measurements, because once your tools have passed from that location, then the signal that the sensors are not going to receive the signal of the residual magnetism. It is at first, when it is near to the defect, it will give the electromagnetic, that flux, leakage flux. It will be received by the sensors and sent to the recorder. So once it move past that defect, then even residual magnetism is not going to affect you. But tool speed will definitely affect the reading, and that tool speed will control. But the stress also, that the stress will have some impact, because there is some constructions in that, and that may affect your readings. Confidence level and probability. I know what is the confidence level. 80% confidence level. That is that you verify that the defects that they have indicated. You can verify at least means that say the critical defects, they have about 10 of the defects. So 80% means 8 number must be verified. Whatever there is some percentage. Otherwise they have to take that. So this is the confidence. This is the confidence level, and probability is 9% the defect is also we have to detect. And 80% is that it should match 80%. They are 10 and 80. At least you must attend that defect. And it should be of course we will all attend that. It is a research, but for 80%. So this is the 80% of this level. And so this is important. And another thing is that is not there. I'm not remembering. So defect of cauterization. So there are the different types of that. That may be the pinhole. They will specify. Normally there is a pitting, the general corrosion that they say, axial grooving, circumferential grooving, and the slotting. These are the types of defects which they will clarify, which they will put in the report. This is the graphical representation of metal loss features. See, now this is the length, defect length. So where we match based on the experience. So this is the pinhole, defect length. The pinhole is very small, so here it will be pinhole, very less defect and very less that defect verification. But this pinhole is very dangerous actually. This pinhole is there, fast it will corrode this pinhole, and there can be leak from the pinhole. Then this is within this range, it is circumferential slotting. Yes, Then this is the area of axial grooving. This is the pitting range, and this is circumferential grooving, and this is the general corrosion, general metal loss. There, from this to this, and from this to this. So width is not very important, but length is important. This is the metal loss sizing. We have to do. How much is that? And so like that, length and width, and this is the depth, deepest pit they will give, and they complete that length from here to here, cluster. So depth they are giving all the details. This is the original thickness. This is the depth loss from here to here, and this is the length and the width. So metal loss sizing is there. And data analysis as per ASME B31.G. Now you have to go through 31G. So there are 4 levels of evaluation. So 0, level 1, 2, and 3. So the formula is there. I have given the formula, but you have to refer to the B31G. And it is a very say, complicated this thing, data evaluation of your what type of levels you are there. So I will give you. You have to go through that. This is just a nomenclature. I won't go in detail. This is all that you can refer to that 1G, or you can this also. So these are all the data. What is the nomenclature that it has been given there? Okay. This is also the nomenclature and the equation which is given by Lack. You have to calculate. This simple any engineers can do. Okay. So at terminal B31G, this is 31G, you have to calculate. Calculation is there, how much is that? What you are calculating finally. This is the 0 evaluation as per 31G. So there are different. This criteria is there where your pipeline stands. What is its, depending upon the metal loss, whether it is in the critical zone or whether it is in means that planning zone, schedule zone, or whether it is only in the monitoring zone. So these are the different type of level. You can go for the class level 0 is the minimum evaluation criteria. As you go higher, level 1, 2, 3, 4, you are going higher and higher. So you have to, they ask for that from level 0 to level 4, which type of evaluation do you want? So this is on the basic level. Metal loss level, if this metal length does not exceed the value of L given in the corresponding table. There is a table. So this is depending upon the length of the metal loss. This is based on the safety factor. Level 1 is based on the safety factor. This is the level 2. This is the area. Effective area method, level 2. Level 3, this is the finite element analysis of corroded region, the level 3 evaluation. Finally, at level 3, typically involves a detailed analysis, such as a finite element analysis of the corroded region. So you can go for, and you can match, you can go for up to level 1, level 2, level 3, and then you can see where do you lack. The longitudinal axis of pipe, this is from here to here, it is going, the deepest pit. So they will give the all the data. This is a cluster like that. So this way, longitudinal axis of pipe is the 5L. So it will come length from here to here actually. You have to take. They will give you all the data here. What is the length and what is, so you have to take length from here to here. Yes. This is again some axial interaction. L3, some distance is there. Here some defect is there. L is length. This is the length. Here based on the length. Okay. And this is the depth. W is depth. So they say circumference direction may occur if W is less than W1, W2. Now they will give you all. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think the time is around 1 o'clock, and we can take a lunch break.
I will do this. Now we are completing this. I am completing this just 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, and Ketan Patil wants to know how the speed of pig tool control inside pipeline.
How the
How the speed of pig tool.
speed of pig tool is controlled by the flow of the gas or the oil,
Okay.
because it is the differential pressure which is the region for the pig to pig to pass. Okay, so you have to they will give you the guideline that your speed of the gas flow, that should be how much in meter per second. Okay, so normally you have to your production or the flow has to have a minimum level in that range, so that your tool speed is within that zone, within that control zone. Okay,
Okay. And
yeah, that's flow.
Mr. Parmar, Mr. Rajendra
Yeah,
Parmar, is mentioned that what you want to explain one more time.
which one? The
Mr.
speed. See, because your this pig moves in the pipeline because of the differential pressure between upstream and downstream. Okay, so that depends upon the pressure of the flow of the gas or the oil. What is the speed or the flow rate of your gas or the oil? So you have to maintain the flow of your product to that level which have a differential pressure which controls the speed of the tool. Understand?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yeah, that is so that the I like to do whichever you will be doing the intelligent pigging, that they will specify you that to move the tools at the rate of 3 meter per second or so, your velocity of your or gas or oil or the flow rate should be this much. That you have to maintain. Okay.
Yes, sir, I got your point.
Yeah, if the pressure difference is more, then the speed will be more. Okay, so you have to maintain that pressure difference in that zone. That is because of the flow only. Okay, yeah. So flow is important. You have to reduce the flow, and the pressure will also reduce. So this is all about the axial interaction. And then the leak detection pig is there, that I have told you, that is a pig, also leak detection pig. But that leak detection pig is there, that is to they are not using that actually, but it is based on the principle of acoustic measurement. So there is that acoustic emission system for the leak detection system also, not pig, but a system outside that can give you that the leak detection. Can fix on the pipeline also. So this leak detection page, and this is all about our inline inspection. So I think you must have got a. If there is anything left, or anything, you can write me also, or later on, then I can clarify your doubt also. Okay, and with this, will just a minute. So we will now break for a lunch, and before we go for lunch, up till now I have covered say integrated management system and triads. What are the triads? Then risk assessment, integrity assessment, the frequency. What are the tools? What we have to look for? What is the frequency? So this is the one part, and inline inspection technology. So these two sessions we have covered. If you have any, we can write down this thing. Your any queries are there. We will discuss later on, not in this, because then we will have miss our sessions, and then we can discuss later on in a final session, question answer session. Okay. What is the one question? Say, let me see if there is any way I can chat it here. Why profit material not covered? in pigging, why pyrophoric material? Pyrophoric material. What is this pyrophoric material in pigging? Who has asked this question? Rajinder Parmar.
Mr. Parmar asked this question.
What is this you tell why pyrophoric material? What is this material and where it is used in pigging? Hello. Actually, you cannot speak.
Mr. Parmar.
So we can, if there is nothing, we can go for lunch, or somebody wants to ask anything.
Sir, Arun from sir.
बोलिए.
Hello.
Sir,
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Go on.
Agrawal sir. Hello.
हाँ जी.
1.1.
बोलिए.
Hydro testing of 1.25 times of MOOP for frequency of 5 years. बोला है ना sir?
Hydro test 5 years. Yeah.
That is as per which OSD standard, sir?
This is the OISD is selling. OISD 226 में होगा ये. OISD का एक SOP भी है. SOP Standard Operating Procedure.
Sir, actually in SOP they have mentioned MOP, not MAOP, no, right? Maximum
MOP.
operating, not allowable MAOP, no. That is not MOP, right?
MOP and MAOP. See, this is where it is given MOP.
In guidelines, SOP.
Which OISD.
OSD SOP, integrity assessment for pipelines. Petroleum and gas.
Guidelines. Yeah.
In which they have mentioned MOP.
Sometimes what happens, you see, MAOP, there is a different terminology here. MOP, MAOP, design pressure, and below MOP there will be operating pressure. There are 4 terminology. You see.
Yes.
Now, people are maximum allowable operating pressure is 10% of the design pressure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you are doing the designing and you are doing the hydro test initially.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At the hydro test, how much pressure you are testing initial at the time of design commissioning?
1.25 times.
1.25 times of design pressure.
Design pressure.
Pardon?
Design pressure.
Design pressure.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So at this time you are not going for design pressure, because see, this is just sustain how much pressure you can sustain. So if you can do, sometimes what happens, MOP is you are operating at the MAOP. MOP is equal to the MAOP. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you can go, suppose if you are going for the MAOP, you are operating at MAOP.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So maximum we have taken. Okay. So it means 1.25 time of MAOP you can go. If MOP is equal, because you can operate at the maximum of MAOP. Okay. Yes. So let us consider that the 1.25 times of MAOP, which may be equal to MOP or may not, but you can go up to MAOP. Okay.
I have to go up to MAOP.
Yeah. You can operate.
If I am not operating our pipeline in MOOP, for example, my MAOP is 100 kg. I am operating the pipeline at 50 kg.
Yeah.
For 25 years, for 20 years, for example. So I have to test for 100 kg or 50 kg hydro testing.
See, that is see, if suppose I am telling you after 5 years your strength is not there, then there will be, see, hydro testing, there can be any pressure if you are testing, suppose, and your pipeline is not able to sustain that pressure.
Yes, sir.
So that pressure testing you have to do only at the hydro testing pressure. See the water filling. You are not doing. How you can do that? That is just a requirement. You see, nobody is doing. Who is doing that during running lines?
We are doing, sir.
You are
HPCL,
doing.
we have done for one section and we are planning to do for next section. That's why
How you are doing? How you are doing? Are you isolating your pipeline?
we are sending water, we are filling the water for one section around
Okay.
13,500.
Yeah, okay, I will tell you.
Yes,
You
sir.
are using oil pipeline or gas pipeline?
Why oil pipeline, sir?
Your oil pipeline. So you are means you are all draining all your oil and you are filling water in that pipe. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and then you are pressurizing.
Yes, sir.
So your working pressure is say what 50 kg.
50 kg, example for 50 kg. Our operating pressure is 50. Maximum operating pressure is 50 kg.
Maximum operating pressure is 50 kg.
Yes, sir.
And what is your MAOP?
MOP is 83.
Okay, so what is your history actually? How much it will go maximum?
Maximum we have seen up to 50 kg.
So, no, I am telling you the
Maximum I can go up to 83, sir.
maximum operating pressure you can go up to 83 kg.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, then you have to test 1.25 times of 83 kg.
Okay.
But
Yes, sir.
before that, you have the water, so there is no problem. You see,
Okay.
because oil you cannot take that risk leakage. So water you can go. If your pipeline is not able to sustain 1.25 times of your MAOP, that is
Yes, sir.
MOP, that is 3 kg. Okay, then you will come to know that your pipeline strength is not that much. Okay,
Yes, sir.
then you have to reduce that. Then you have to understand that you have to go how much you can go up maximum up to that. So there is no harm in going to that because you will come to know the pipeline strength.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. But
And,
so
sir, one more thing. If ILA inspection is once in 10 years, and we have done ILA inspection last year, can we do hydro testing also in parallel to ILA?
no, not required.
Not.
I told you that this is just a different options. If you are doing ILI, then you know and you can measure that. So no need to go for the hydro testing.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
This doesn't run concurrently. You see.
Okay.
ILI you have done, then I don't need to do this ECD, ICD also.
Okay.
Either of that. If you have the non-piggable pipelines, okay, then even then you can. How can you do in the hydro test in a non-piggable pipelines? Again, you have to put the pigs and other things. So you cannot do that hydro testing also in that.
Yes, sir.
Non-piggable. So in that case, non-piggable, you have the non-piggable pipeline.
Station pipings are non-piggable pipelines.
No, station piping is no. I am talking about the
cross country. No cross-country pipelines are not piggable. All are piggable pipelines.
Okay, so there's no problem. You are doing ILI, so why you are doing pressure testing for the oil pipelines when you can do ILI?
Actually, last PNGRB audit, that was a point that you have to do hydro test as per latest OSD SOP. And one section, we have two sections, 18 inch, 14 inch and 12 inch. Sorry, 18 inch, 16 inch and 14 inch. 14 and 16 inch we have done ILI and 18 inch we have done ILI 5 years back. So for 18 inch I have to do a hydro test.
5 years you are doing that is piggable line.
Piggable line, sir. Piggable line, actually piggable line mein for 18 inch pipeline we have done ILI 5 years back. And 16 inch and 14 inch we have done ILI for last year only. Last year in the sense 2019.
You have to take 5 years back you have done. Na? So you have to do after 5 years inline inspection.
Yes, sir.
See, inline inspection in any case you have to do. See, the pressure testing will not give you the complete see the features of the pipeline. What is going on inside the pipeline? Okay. That will give you only an indication of what is going on in the pipeline. That is strength of the pipeline, pressure testing.
Okay.
But the inline inspection is something different. So you can go for the inline inspection. If you go for the inline inspection, no need to go for the anyway. I am not going to contend, but you can put forward before the OISD. That's why you are insisting on that, because we are doing ILI every 5 years. We will do it
Okay.
anyway.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go for lunch. We'll meet at what time you will come after
Agrawal
lunch?
sir,
Yeah.
Agrawal sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. This is Rajendra Parmar because I lose the connection and due to some interruptions. Sir, as you know that I work with you in the Jagoti Pitampur pipeline.
Okay.
Hello?
Ji. Yes.
And yes, and since I have some questions in the beginning of the presentation, you have defined that the definition of the integrity. You have covered the people, asset, PAER, but you have not covered the reputations in the definition of the integrity. Why the reputation is not covered?
Reputation means
Reputation of the organization because
reputation
lot
of
of
the
accident or
organization.
incident happen.
That is come
Yes,
in the that has come in the objective of integrity assessment. Definition you are talking about. Definition is about the people,
Yes.
asset, and environment. You know, but the objective
Yes,
of
but
the integrity. Yeah. Tell me.
because you know after lot of incident happen in India with the GAIL pipelines, and then they realize that we should start the integrity segment.
Yeah.
So I think in the definition as well as in the PNGRB guideline, they should cover this reputation also.
No,
Hello?
reputation is, of course, one of the brand image. I have discussed brand image. What is brand image? Brand image is a reputation only. So this is one of the objectives of the integrity. You cannot club all those things objectives in a definition. See, what is the mission or objective of say of NACE? Yeah, people,
Okay.
assets, and environment. See, the pipeline integrity. The reputation is one of the objectives. It is to save your asset integrity, ultimately the people's assets and the environment. So this is the main objective. This is your effectiveness and efficiency to maintain the integrity. That is the definition. But objectives, lot many things will come. As I told you, brand image is one of that. See, and in that graph also,
Yes.
different environments are there. So I've explained you that reputation is there, of course. That is a part of integrity management. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Yeah. Then we will break for lunch. Okay.
Of course. Sure, sir.
Yeah, so we'll meet there around 2:30. Should we meet?
Yeah, around 2:30 we will start.
2:30?
We have sent the mail to you all. You can join the second session link. Around 2:30 we'll start that session. It's okay? Okay. So we are ending this session here. So on to 2:30 we'll start the next session, second session for the day. Okay, you all leave.